What's going on, all you lovely people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike O'Hora, and this is a lovely penguin. Welcome back. Today we are doing the set breakdown for TXT's Loser Lover. I don't know if you're supposed to say the equals, but Loser Lover I think is what they were calling it. So we're going to be doing the set breakdown of that. It's a freaking dope song. So if you haven't checked out the reaction I did to it, go ahead and watch that because it was a good time. But this one we're just going to break down the set pieces that you've seen in there, talking about all the art department things that you probably did not even think about or notice. So let's dive right in, and then also sub to the channel too because I want to grow. So thanks. Please. The very vast majority of this video is actually shot out on location, which is pretty sick. You know, it's definitely a lot easier to control art-wise what's going on when you're in a studio, but there's just something really awesome and special about going out and actually shooting out in the world, out on location. So like they're out here in some desert. They got this Volvo here that could be a rental. Probably is going to be somebody on the crew's car. More often than not, they will just do that, especially for shots like this, like where they don't need any expensive, fancy car. So this might be one of like the art department people's, could be a producer's, even the director's, somebody's car. It's just another easy way to save a little bit of money while still having what you need. So if you have it already, why rent it, you know? Not saying they're being cheap or anything, but that's just a part of making productions and stuff. You don't want to spend all your money on something as simple as a car when you can just borrow it, you know? So this rig that they had set up here, we talked about this when they're doing the making of video, but yeah, there's a special technology that they have where I don't remember if it's actually a special camera or if it's like a chip that you put onto the camera. But essentially what it does is it uses the background. It's a big screen that is synced up with the video camera so that it'll play in the background while you're recording. And then you can kind of turn and move and the background will adjust accordingly as if you're physically in the location that you're filming. So like when they do little pans and stuff, then you start seeing a lot more of the right side of the road. Or if you pan to the left, you see a little bit more of the left side of the road. And things will still be going by because they're still driving forward. But it's really cool because it's essentially like having green screen on the shoot. So you can actually see exactly what it's going to look like while you shoot it, rather than having to wait for post-production to go in and add in the background and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, they'll go in and smooth it out, clean it up a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, it looks freaking great. And all they did was they're standing up on this stage here, which doesn't actually have wheels on it. It's not attached to a truck. It's just in a studio in front of a big monitor screen that has this all going on in the background. But it's a really simple build here, and it looks awesome. Then the other piece that I did want to talk about on this as well, and it's a thing that most people don't realize, is like these panels here that is on the floor that makes it look like the trailer bed. Not actually metal. Those are all going to be wood board. Most likely it's going to be like a smoothed out MDF board or something along that line. Something a little thick and sturdy so that people can step on it and it's not going to bend and warp too bad. And yeah, it's kind of cool because it's like they painted them white, obviously, but then they put on these rust stains as well, which would be kind of typical to see on a truck trailer like this. Especially because they are using like the US here in the background. I'm pretty sure this is somewhere in like Arizona or something like that when they're not actually there. But a lot of trucks and stuff, they do have a lot of like rust on them and whatnot. And it's something that is actually a lot easier to do than you probably think. Before they put any of these boards down, it's just as simple as just getting spray paint. Like brown spray paint works so well to make it look like rust, you know, because a lot of times rust doesn't kind of come out in hard streaks, but more like little blotches that show up and like these small little holes that'll pop up and they kind of spread out and then they can join together to make a huge rust mark. So when you're using a spray can, a lot of times what I would do if I'm trying to make something look rusted is I'll hold the spray paint really far back, you know, as I'm spraying at it, so that it really lightly dusts it. So you get a little bit closer on like these edge bits where it seems a lot more brown, but then the brown speckles will go out onto the white to make it no longer look pure, and it looks like it's all getting slowly rusted out, and adds that feeling. So as you get to the corners, you're going to go a little closer and do quick little spritz there, make it look a lot more rusted. But yeah, just spray paint. That's the easiest way to make it work. I mean, here you can kind of see it just a little bit closer, just like the little splots that they can do and make it look a little bit nicer. Plus, it looks like they did lean some of these up after they sprayed it, so they start to dribble a little bit too, which also isn't a bad look for the rust. It kind of adds to it, especially because that back panel is flipped up anyway, so it kind of makes sense because the water runs down, and that would be where the rust would form. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting to see they actually went out onto location. So they used this bank as one of the locations. They shot inside here as well as just outside of the bank as well, where they're sitting, I believe, in that Volvo again. But yeah, it's a really great location. They use fake cards and stuff like that because God forbid anybody put their real card in there and then somebody could, like, you know, pause, enhance, and zoom in on their info. They can't steal their credit card info. So those are all dummy cards, if you would. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really cool fact that they use locations. This is another one. This is another location. They got a little restaurant action going on over here. I will say you can't really see it in the actual music video here, but there's this fridge case over here that's got all sorts of drinks in it, some sodas, some beers, all that kind of stuff that you'd see at like a restaurant or you know, like a food joint. And in the behind the scenes video, at least, you can see what they actually look like in the background, and you'll notice all the labels are turned backwards. They're facing the back of the fridge, so you can't actually see exactly what drink it is. You might recognize the can or bottle or whatever, but you technically can't read what it says. So that's what people call Greeking. It means just making sure that none of the labels are seen, so then you can't get sued if there are products there. Actually, in this shot, you can kind of see it a little bit better, but yeah, you'll notice all the labels. They're like the back labels. You can't actually see any of the labels on the fronts of these and whatever. Yeah, it's just little things like that. For the most part, all the stuff that's in this little restaurant that they're in is going to be stuff that was already at the location. Like, I'm sure they brought food and prepped it so it would look exactly the way that they wanted it to look for this video. But most of the stuff here would most likely have been on location already. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool little touch when they have an on location shoot where it's like you can clearly see inside. That was the restaurant the dude was just in eating the french fries, and then he gets chased out of there because he's like throwing food or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what is the reason he's getting chased out, but still, it's cool to be able to continue outside and actually see him take off and run down the street. Another awesome little location they had here was the skate park. Again, it's a real location. It's a real place. I don't know at all where it is, but it's, first off, it's a beautiful location. And it's clearly been like a used skate park, you know, like it's not like a brand new thing or anything like that. Like, you know, paint's already chipping and all that kind of stuff. Just a classic thing from a skate park. So if you know where this is, let me know. So this is another shot here too, where, to be honest with you, this one I'm not 100% sure if this is a location or if it is in the studio. We didn't really get to see too much of what was going on in the behind the scenes here, but I will say this room is just set decked out really perfectly. I mean, you got all these posters on the walls of all the different bands and like these old school like rock bands and whatnot that are up here. Plus, you got all his music stuff. He's got like the drum pad. He's got the guitars and all that. He's got a bunch of vinyl records, some speakers, and all that kind of stuff, as well as all the stuff here on the desk with like a switchboard and like a little keyboard thing going on here. But it totally looks exactly like what a musician's, like, you know, an up and coming musician's room might look like. You know, somebody who's desiring to become something. It's got music stuff all around. For the most part, it's going to be all things that you can rent. However, being that these guys are actually musicians themselves, it wouldn't be a surprise if they did bring in their own stuff. But But there is a moment where he does throw a guitar against the wall, and I believe that would be a prop. That would not be a actual guitar that he owns, unless he's really willing to destroy one for the video. But yeah, here you kind of get to see the you get to see a little bit better the room. So like you see like the Beatles, got Oasis, the Ramones, Metallica, AC/DC's over here, David Bowie, you know, all these classic stuff. Motley Crue's down there. It's kind of hard to see exactly everything, but you know what I mean. It's just like the classic stuff that like any musician growing up probably would have had going on. Plus it's fun too that they put like the live streaming little aspect over it too, which adds into that funny bit of the video here. But yeah, then he does kind of destroy things. He kind of throws the guitar kind of lightly against the wall, so it makes me believe they're probably on a location for this. But even still, though, the way this room's decked out is it's spot on. It's spot on to what you need to have for a video. But for the most part, too, everything here would be rentable. You can get that anything in this room right now you can get from a prop house. All right. I've sat here for just a couple minutes just trying to really figure out if this is actually a set or not. And to be honest with you, I think it's a set. I think this is a set they built in a studio. I don't think this is at someone's house or anything like that. And I only think that for one reason. And it's very quick. It's very subtle. But at one point, his dad comes into the room and he closes the door. And as the door closes, it kind of slams a little behind him. Now, if you were in an actual building in any house, unless you're like the Hulk, you would close the door and the whole room, the whole wall isn't going to shake. But on a set, when you're using flats and stuff like that, when you do close the door, there'll be a little bit of a wobble. So you'll kind of be able to see if you're looking at the left side of the screen here, right by the door, the wall does shake when he closes the door. So just take a look at it real quick. You see that? Very ever so slightly. It's kind of easy to see on the guitars. If you look up at the top left at the guitars, you can kind of see it a little bit better. They wobble. So he doesn't close the door that hard either. So that's why I'm like, this is inside of a studio. If that's quite literally, that's me really looking hard trying to figure out exactly where they are for this. But yeah, that's a studio. No one ever needs to know that, but I needed to know. Okay, so there is a close-up shot of one of the guys here breaking a broom. He's working in a little shop here. And I will say, as you look at it frame by frame, it definitely looks like he actually just broke the broom here. I will say that looks super clean, especially with how much it bends when he kicks it. So I think they actually broke the broom here for this shot. I think this was a genuine break here. But a lot of the times for videos like this, as an art person, we'll typically have broom handles that are already pre-broken, and then we put them back together and we lightly will either glue them or we will use tape or some sort of substance in order to keep them together very loosely so that the guys can kick through it over and over and over again without having to worry about, you know, doing a kick that doesn't go through or whatever. It'll make sure that the take happens no matter what. But I will say for this one, it genuinely looks like he actually kicks through the thing. So I'm pretty sure he actually just broke that with his foot. So yeah, in terms of art, that'll about wrap it up for this music video here. It's an awesome, awesome video. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that it is a lot of fun. I love that they went and shot a lot of stuff on location. They also had a couple little builds here and there. So not that much to talk about, but there were the few little things that are definitely worthwhile to hear about, I think. So if you learned anything, let me know. And if you want to check out any of their other videos, if you have anything that you want to know, questions or anything like that, I will be in the comments checking it all out. So please feel free to leave me one and let me know. And yeah, other than that, guys, make sure that you sub to the channel if you want to keep on learning and keep on growing, because I want to keep on growing, and the only way I can do that is if you guys sub to the channel. It costs you $0. So yeah, do that. Check out all the links down below. It's got all my my information, my social medias, and all that good stuff, as well as Twitch and Discord and even my Patreon. But yeah, check those out. I love you guys. Stay aggressively positive. Have a fantastic week. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.